Last week, through Fortune magazine, we first told you about Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg's new penchant for killing his own food. We found it so interesting, we wanted to continue the conversation with Lee Gallagher, assistant managing editor of the magazine. She's talking about CEOs who do things, let's say, off the beaten path. And Antero Pereira is a butcher who's been in the business for 30 years. He's the Gramercy meat market, or he's at the Gramercy meat market in New York. And I'm guessing you don't have many 27-year-old billionaires coming in asking if they can slaughter what they want to eat.
No, definitely not. Most definitely not.
So what is the mainstream slaughter process like then? Because we hear that he's been using knives to kill goats and that sort of thing. Would that be normal in your line of work? Would a professional do that?
No, not anymore. And now the animals aren't killed with a knife. They just kill basically electric shock straight to the brain, which is instantaneous death. They die straight away.
So he should actually be shocking his dinner prior to eating. And Tara, I'm curious, how much meat could you get off a typical cow? Because when I first heard about the story, I thought to myself, if I had to slaughter my own dinner, I'd slaughter the biggest animal possible. So I only had to do it once and eat for a long time.
Yeah, you can do it once, but where are you going to put 1,500 pounds of meat? Unless you're having a barbecue or a big block party, you're going to have to preserve that meat, or otherwise you're going to be eating meat morning to night.
Melissa, you're also assuming that the soul of a cow and the soul of a goat are equal, and you may find the goats are much less. So they're not equal. It's not the same.
I see. I don't know. I figured a billionaire could figure out how to preserve 1,500 pounds of meat, but jerky,
no, not
sausage.
200 pounds. It's almost 1,000 pounds of actual meat after you slaughter it, cleaned it, skinned it. You have almost, some steers can even go higher than 1,000 pounds of actual meat. So you're going to have a very big locker, and I'm sure New York City housewife or a New York couple doesn't have a locker to put 1,500 pounds of meat.
Lee, how does this stack up against other CEOs and their predilections?
The way Mark Zuckerberg has described this is a personal challenge, and this is something he does every year. Last year, he decided to learn Chinese. Certainly, there are things that are more reasonable, that raise less eyebrows. But for him, this is more about learning where your food comes from, being aware of how it gets killed. It's sort of in the sustainability locavore. It's an extension of that. It's not so outrageous the way we've seen, some other CEOs behave over the years.
Oh, tell us. Give us the details. We want to hear the
one recent example is the CEO of GoDaddy, which is best known for its marketing and drawing attention to itself, killed an elephant while he was on safari in Africa and videotaped it and was proud of this. And that drew a lot of controversy, as you can imagine, from PETA, which was actually a customer. You don't know many customers of GoDaddy, but PETA was one apparently. And so that's something that's just kind of out there. I mean, we have seen so many CEOs behave passionately, and get sort of call attention to themselves for the behavior. If you remember, a couple years ago, Steve Ballmer jumped around on stage at a Microsoft conference and screamed and shouted and acted really erratically, which drew a lot of attention. But it was more, with him, that was his passion. He was just panting and out of breath and the only thing he could say was, I love this company. I mean, that's different. That's not a hobby, that's just behavior.
And Tero, tell me, do you think that it would be a good thing if more of your customers understood, or more people in the street understood where the food comes from and the realities of what you and your colleagues in the industry go through? Do you think that they're becoming disconnected from reality? Would you be in favor of what Zuckerberg is doing?
It's not. I don't think it's a question of people becoming disconnected with the reality. Personally, in New York City, I've been here for 12 years. People are just getting disconnected with finances. That is basically the bottom line. If people have money, they'll come to a specialty store and buy good meat. If people don't have money, they'll go to the supermarket and buy meat from the supermarket. I have customers that I know personally in this building. That there's a customer that has 2 kids. He comes here to buy the meat for his 2 kids, and he goes to the supermarket to buy meat for him and his wife. And he's not afraid, and he's not ashamed to say it. because he can't afford meat for all 4 of them from my store. Because it's specialty meat, it's all natural meats, it's humanely killed. And he goes to the store for his meat and his wife. And he told me that.
So
I
would you
accept that, and I accept that as a reality.
So would you say for people that are wealthier, it is quite normal for them to get closer to the process, closer to a butcher,
yes,
closer
definitely.
to, rather than being in a supermarket? That's a natural thing that you see quite often. I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, yes, that's basically what it is. You know, I have a lot of, in the area I am, in Gramercy, I have a lot of movie stars, quite a few that come here quite often. When they're in town, they come here, you know, quite a few that live around here, and they don't mind because they know that the meat, they like to know where it comes from. A lot of people don't want to know because they don't want to confront the reality that they are giving shit to their kids, basically, pardon my French.
With food prices rising, the unfortunate truth is that most families in this country can't exactly be concerned with where it comes from because it sometimes costs more money. They're mostly concerned with the price. But
No. They are basically concerned with the price. And secondly, where that meat comes from. You also find a lot of people are asking if it's local meat, especially New Yorkers. You know, New Yorker, you say New Yorker's a New Yorker, but New Yorker likes to buy local.
Right, got it.
And they like to know. They even like to know the farm.
I got to give the last question to Lee here. Okay, so bottom line this for us. On a scale of 1 to 10, on the spectrum of crazy CEO behavior, how does this rank in your view?
I think it ranks very low. I think this is a personal, passion of his.
Thinks it's crazy.
You know what's interesting is that if you look at the comments on our website after we posted this story, I was so surprised by this because it is kind of controversial, talking about killing an animal with your bare hands. All of the comments were overwhelmingly positive. It was like, this is noble, this is good for you for caring about the food you're eating. You know, it was shocking. So you can go on and look at them. It's amazing. He really seems to have touched a nerve in a way.
All right. Lee, thank you very much. Our thanks also to Antero.
Good luck, Antero.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us, sir.
All right, stocks pairing